The psychology of people who feel invisible in groups. Some people walk into a room and quietly disappear. They speak, others nod, and the moment moves on. They laugh, but no one really looks. They leave, and nothing feels different. It's not that they're shy. It's not that they don't belong. It's something deeper. Psychology says this quiet invisibility is more common than anyone admits, and it's not about popularity. It's about how the human brain manages presence, attention, and belonging. Let's go deeper. The attention economy of groups. In every group, attention is a limited currency. The human brain can only track one or two social signals at a time. Psychologists call this selective attention a filter that decides who matters in the moment. Loud voices, fast talkers, and expressive faces grab attention first. Meanwhile, calm or observant people fade into the background. It's not a lack of value. It's how overstimulated social spaces now function. The same rule applies online. The loudest post wins the feed. The loudest voice wins the room. Invisibility here isn't a sign of weakness. It's a side effect of a noisy world. The spotlight illusion. When some people finally speak, it feels like a spotlight turns on. Every eye seems to notice. Every word feels magnified. But research from Cornell University proved the opposite. In the spotlight effect study, students believed half the room noticed their awkward t-shirt. Only 20% actually did. The brain exaggerates exposure. Fear of judgment turns small moments into pressure tests. So they speak less. They blend in to feel safe. Over time, the silence feeds itself. Being unseen becomes a pattern, a quiet form of protection. They're not socially weak. They're just trying to avoid pain. The brain's pain of being ignored. Psychologists once believed social rejection was emotional, not physical. Then brain scans proved them wrong. When people feel excluded, their anterior cingulate cortex lights up, the same region that activates when the body feels physical pain. To the brain, being ignored and being burned register the same. That's why silence in a group can ache so deeply, but because their nervous system links visibility with pain. It's a defense, not a flaw. Researchers call this social pain overlap theory. The mind recycles its physical pain circuits to handle rejection. That's why loneliness isn't just sadness. It's an injury the body feels. The way out isn't becoming louder. It's finding spaces where visibility doesn't cost peace. Healing starts when the environment stops treating stillness like invisibility. The psychology of group noise. Groups are strange ecosystems. They run on hierarchy, rhythm, and dominance. Sociologists call this collective behavior bias. Most people unconsciously mirror the group's loudest cues. When one person gets ignored, others follow suit. Not out of cruelty, but imitation. If the group's attention shifts away, it stays away. The result? A silent social loop that teaches invisibility. Some people are simply misaligned with the tempo. Deep thinkers need seconds of pause before they answer. Extroverted groups move faster than that. By the time a thoughtful reply forms, the topic has already changed. They end up speaking late, or not at all. And slowly, they stop trying. But invisibility here isn't weakness, it's rhythm mismatch. They process depth, not volume. They think in layers, not reactions. And that kind of mind shines best in one-on-one conversations, not in the chaos of collective talk. That's the quiet paradox. The most observant minds are often the least seen. The solution isn't to force extroversion. It's to find the right rhythm, fewer people, slower spaces, deeper talk, environments that match their emotional tempo. The self-erasure loop. Over time, some people stop expecting to be heard. They downplay their stories, simplify their ideas, or hide their strengths, so they don't stand out awkwardly. Psychologists call this learned invisibility, a pattern that forms when repeated exclusion teaches the brain that silence equals safety. In school, at work, in families, people learn to make themselves smaller. They listen more, but speak less. They mirror others to stay accepted. Until one day, they forget what their natural voice even sounds like. It's not humility. It's adaptation. Their personality shrinks to fit the social container. And like any habit, the more it's practiced, the more automatic it becomes. The quietest people in a room often carry entire worlds of thought. They just learned long ago that expression invites interruption. Reclaiming visibility doesn't mean shouting. It starts with noticing the moment you erase yourself, and pausing before you do it again. The healing begins not when others notice you, but when you start noticing yourself again. Emotional fatigue, and the withdrawal reflex. After too many missed moments, some people grow tired of trying. Not angry, just empty. Psychologists call this social fatigue when the mind protects energy by disconnecting. Their silence isn't apathy. It's recovery. Every ignored comment becomes proof that speaking costs more than it gives. So they retreat to the quiet corners of rooms, of thoughts, of life. The solution isn't to push harder. It's to rest longer. When emotional energy returns, connection follows naturally. The myth of loud equals confident. Groups often mistake volume for leadership, but real confidence doesn't need to compete for air. Psychologists call this quiet self-efficacy, the belief that influence can come through calm. Some people lead without demanding attention. They anchor rooms through stability, not sound. Their words carry weight precisely because they're rare. Visibility built on authenticity lasts longer than visibility built on noise. Relearning presence. Being seen isn't just about being noticed. It's about being known. People who feel invisible often survive by observing. Observation sharpens empathy. They read faces others miss. They sense moods others ignore. That awareness is their hidden strength. It turns invisibility into insight. Reconnection begins when they use that insight to notice others, to speak when it matters, to mirror the empathy they never received. The quiet return. Every mind that disappears wants one thing: to belong without performing. The goal isn't to stand out, it's to stand comfortably. Psychology calls this secure belonging, the balance between visibility and peace. It starts small: a shared smile, a sentence offered without apology, a room where stillness is respected as much as sound. Those small moments rebuild trust and presence. And slowly, the invisible become visible again, not because the world changed, but because they stopped shrinking to fit it. Closing reflection. Some people vanish inside groups, not because they lack light, but because the room is too bright to notice subtle color. Being unseen doesn't mean you have no value. It means your wavelength is quieter, rarer, and still finding the right eyes to meet it. When the world becomes loud, the wise learn to speak in calm. And in time, that calm is what the world listens for.